Hi guys, I'm Caleb. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about and listening to the Veronica's latest album, Godzilla. It is their fourth studio album that has been in the works for quite a few years since their third album in 2014. So I just give a brief rundown of who the Veronicas are for any one of you who are listening for the first time, who are being introduced to them for the first time, and also for fans of their music. So they are a pop duo, identical twin sisters, Lisa and Jessica Origliasso, and they were really popular in the 2000s, around the 2005, where they debuted with their debut studio album under Warner Music, The Secret Life of, and their singles, I mean, if you probably would have heard them in movies and the likes of it, such as Forever, Hook Me Up, and Untouched. And I remember watching Amanda Bynes' movies, She's the Man, and I distinctly remember hearing their music on it. And at that point in time, I had no inkling whatsoever of who the Veronicas were, but I, as a pop lover, I somehow was drawn into their really interesting take, or I would say their vocal style on these tracks. Yeah, so they were really popular in the 2005 to 2010. Then they had some issues in their lead up to their third album, which was supposed to be titled The Life on Mars. There was a lot of issues within the label, with them and Warner Music in terms of the direction of the music. So they had a single, which was Lolita, in 2012. Didn't really hit or top as much as their previous singles on the charts, be it in Australia or even in the US, but it was still a strong effort. But unfortunately, because of all these struggles, they decided to part ways and they became independent. But in 2014, they got signed to Sony Music Australia and they released their single You Ruined Me off their third studio album, which they retitled The Veronicas. So that song debuted at number 1 on the ARIA charts, the chart which is for Australia, similar to like we have Billboard Top 100 and the likes of it in the US. So it also charted in the US and also in the UK. And since then, between 2016 to 2021, they have been releasing singles here and there, and at times hinting of an actual release of an album, which they previously titled Human, but then it kept on delaying until now, where we have 2 releases, being Godzilla, their 4th studio album, which just released on 26 March 2021, and they're going to have another album, which I will probably be listening to and commenting about, which is Human, on the 2nd of July this year. So I actually got into their music, funny enough, only when they kind of evolved from their sound in terms of rock. They actually, funny enough, they actually started out doing demos with doing electro pop or at least more electronic kind of music in their demos, but somehow under Warner Music they were framed to be more of a rock and pop rock kind of a band or duo. But after leaving the label, after signing on to Sony Music, they started to explore different things. So with ballads, and lately I would say the ones that I knew them for, which is more of the EDM sounding tracks. So they had In My Blood in 2016, which was an immediate hook for me. I mean, for all the Australians who are watching, you would know DNA, the producers of that song, they produced so many iconic songs for Australian artists, such as Sound of Silence, for Dami Im's entry to the Eurovision, Jessica Mauboy's entry to Eurovision with We Got Love, and then Sea of Flags also for the 2014 interval act by Jessica Mauboy as well. It was by DNA, and also even Samantha Jade. She also has had several singles that was also done by this duo. So it's pretty interesting that I feel like I got to know them, introduced to them in terms of this ballad slash EDM realm of music, but I'm not one to really like pop rock in general, but I'm really like to hear what they have on this album. I've been waiting for an album from them for so long, even though I'm in Asia and they I wouldn't say they're that popular, at least in like Singapore. I think they're more popular in the Western world. So, but I, as a listener of Australian music and Australian artists, I think they have really a really good shot at this this album, despite having such a long hiatus, or in the sense like a long break from their previous studio album. And apparently it went #1 on iTunes in Australia yesterday or something. I saw on their Instagram, and I think that's pretty good. It is a good step in the right direction. I do feel like maybe part of the reason why it's delayed is because of Sony Music Australia. They're just known for like a lot, or like I would say a lot of people are just like unhappy, including me. We are unhappy about the way they promote their artists, the way they budget music videos, the way that they're unable to push the Australian artists to get their music out there. It's like just droplet singles, and then you can just throw it out there. Okay, if you get it, you get it. But I mean, with the likes of Guy Sebastian, which I'll probably talk about if he has another album coming out or another single from the next album. He's one example where Sony Music Australia knows how to do it right. But for the Veronicas, I feel it's really up and down. Sometimes they have really good music videos, such as In My Blood. They have On My Side. Of course, it was directed by Ruby Rose, and the stuff that happened after that. I mean, you can search it on their Wikipedia and all that. You would know already. But then with this new album, you would see in the music videos for the last two releases before the album release, which is Godzilla and the all-day collaboration, Life of the Party. The music videos were kind of didn't hit it as well for me. It kind of just went down. Even for biting my tongue, it kind of just didn't hit the right way as In My Blood did. The song is strong, but the music video as a package as a whole lacked. And even in the promotion, In My Blood, they had a quite big promo. They did perform it at the ARIA Awards, but for Biting My Tongue, yes, they performed it at the Voice Australia, but nothing else. Not even on Sunrise, not even on major Australian shows. Biting My Tongue was released during COVID, so I get that why it wasn't really promoted that much, but they could have gone on these kind of morning shows to do some promotion instead of just dropping it and then kind of expecting listens. Because I mean, there's so many artists nowadays to listen to, so many up and coming ones that have emerged, have been popular just in the last year alone. It gets harder for artists with a longer history in the music industry to kind of the staying power, or say emerge among these up and coming ones. So without further ado, let's get into the album track list for Godzilla. We have Godzilla, Kaleidoscope, In My Blood, In It to Win It, High Score, Stealing Cars, Supernatural Girl, 101, Catch Fire, Silent featuring Travis Barker, The Only High, Sugar Daddy. I've listened to the preceding singles, which is In My Blood and The Only High. I'm not sure why. I'm not really on the fence on why they actually chose to include In My Blood in this body of work, because it's such a long time ago, and I'm sure I don't think it was meant for, or maybe it was meant for the album, but because of so many album delays, I just feel like it shouldn't be part of it. It just should stand alone as its own work, its own art. Even On My Side and Biting My Tongue, they're on the Human album, which I also feel on the fence about. It's like they weren't actually singles for in terms of the lead up to it. It just doesn't feel cohesive enough. It felt each of it was very distinct in its own way. The treatment wise, there was not much of a promotion cycle to connect each of it together to create one whole body of work, as much as they did for their previous album, The Veronicas, where they had If You Love Someone, You Ruin Me, etc. as the singles for the album, and it felt more cohesive in that sense. That said, I would still give a chance to see how all these songs fit into the album itself. I hope the intention is not solely because to drum up the numbers to get a certain certification, like because they already have existing a lot of views and a lot of listens, a lot of downloads for In My Blood already. The Only High not so much, but definitely with In My Blood it kind of triumphs as in that body of work. It already has a lot of plays, a lot of listens and things like that, but I just hope it's not solely because of that. I hope there's actually a reason to why it fits into this record. There's a lot more of, if I'm not wrong, pop, rock pop, electro pop as well. They kind of mash it together in this album. I've heard a bit of Godzilla in their music video. The music video, they just dropped out of nowhere. At least for me, I just felt it dropped out of nowhere. Not my style of music, neither was Sugar Daddy my kind of style of music, but I'm open to listen to more music and see how this body of work flows, how they pay homage to their beginnings as or like what made them known in the first place as pop rock artists, and then now in experimenting other things. Of course, I think the Human album will probably be something that I would be more inclined to listen to on a daily, but I think it's gonna be interesting to hear the contrast between this album and Human. So without further ado, let's get into Godzilla, the album. Alright, so first track we have Godzilla. Okay, it starts with a guitar riff, which I like. I would encourage you to watch a music video if you haven't. It's okay to me, the music video, but it really reminds me of their music, their old music, Their vocal is so suitable, like so versatile for electropop and for pop rock. I really hope they do perform in Singapore at some point. I would really love to watch it, or at least if I would go to Australia in some time in future, I would love to watch them perform live. I would say, even though I don't really like listening to this kind of music, but they know how to embody the concept well. I'd say for the production wise, it's really good. As an opener to the album, I mean it's also titled the same way, so I think it befits, I guess, at least for now. It seems a good introduction into like something that is bigger to come, or it's hype enough for an introduction to the album. Both of them co-wrote every single song on the album, so I lot much respect to them as artists. They do pay attention to how they frame themselves in their body of work and how much involvement they have in their image. I'm just glad that Sony Music Australia didn't force them to kind of still give them liberty in terms of how they want to frame themselves in their image. Yeah, I'm glad they in terms of exploring, going back to their old style, exploring new style music. Yeah, instead of just boxing them up in a certain kind of genre. I think rock fans probably enjoy this like shouting kind of vocal take, and it kind of fades out that way. Interesting. Now we head on to Kaleidoscope. A little bit more in terms of melodically interesting. Still can't tell what genre exactly it is at the start. Ooh, I love that. It's very like 80s kind of the sound instrumentation. Okay, there's a build up right now. Somehow the instrumental does give me that sense of like Kaleidoscope. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's not like a Kaleidoscope has a sound to it, but like it kind of does embody that. I'm not sure. Ooh, okay, the chopped up vocals. It kind of makes sense then why In My Blood comes right after Kaleidoscope. You know, it's like, yeah, then now it makes sense that way. Like the build-up kind of feels very pop to me, but the chorus becomes a bit more rock to me. I don't know. It's like you see the harmony seems very pop to me. Like I guess this is what pop rock is. I'm not very sure. Like the new age of pop rock. This chopped up vocals seems very rock because of the way they filtered it, but with that extra collide. This part seems very flowy, like more of a pop record. Especially the bridge, it sounds so pop. Yeah, and then the choir vocals, this part. So, and then with the strings, I mean, come on, it seems so pop. Oh, I love this build up, this change of a build up. Wow, I love that build up. This will be, yeah, the hook of the song, which, if anything, that will stay in my head in terms of for this song. Oh, I love this spoken word at the end. And then coupled with that, just that techno beat at the back. Ooh, wow, nice. I like you in the sense of like that as a transition to In My Blood. I think I can get behind that. And we have the all popular love music In My Blood, produced by DNA, my favorite producer for Australian artists, definitely. I just love the starting. And also, do watch their performance at the ARIA Awards in 2016 of this song. I mean, other than their outfit, like the outfit is already so amazing, and then their vocals, you know, they're just made for the stage in terms of for electropop. I feel like in terms of the scene in Australia, they are the leading ones in electropop. I need them to do more of this kind of music. I feel like they did a bit of an attempt with it with Biting My Tongue, but Biting My Tongue felt more ballad than this. I feel like I need them to do this again, you know, this kind of song. It's such a perfect record. And then this chopped up vocals here, it's so catchy. Especially when you see it being performed live, it's like when I'm hearing this song, I'm just thinking of their dance choreography or like their choreographed movements on the stage for this song. They did it also for The Voice, I think. Same thing also with like, at this part they have like a slow walking kind of a thing according to the beat, and it somehow makes so much sense. I'm not sure who choreographs their performances, but it's good. I like it. Not overly done, but subtle enough that fits their image. And the build up, yes. I also like the strings at the back. And then the breakdown for this hits harder than the first chorus, the first breakdown in the first chorus. And then the bridge comes in. And then this part in the live vocals, you're like one of them, I'm not sure who, they will hit the high note, like the high octave for this. Amazing. They're just so good at doing like vocals that are suitable for this kind of like chopped up vocal style, you know. And then here in their live performance, they do like a harmonizing thing. Amazing. Can never get tired of this song, honestly. Next song, we have In It to Win It. Let's see whether it goes back into the realm of rock or it stays in pop. Okay, I'm sensing that it's probably going back to rock. Oh, I love that it just suddenly cut out of all the instrumentation. I can see this being like a teenage movie, like those like Mean Girls kind of energy. Yeah, like those High School Musical kind of like basketball scene kind of movie. I can picture this. Not a big fan of the way it's being auto-tuned. I feel like their vocals alone are able to sound auto-tuned enough. I'm not sure how to say it, but like, yeah. Like this part is fine. Like just the beginning of their both verses are very auto-tuned in a way that I'm just not a fan of it. Yeah, I love this, like the dissonance in the way they pitch themselves in terms of the when they're saying these words. It's so the Veronicas, it's like so iconic to their sound. Yeah, this part. Not a big fan of the auto-tune. And then I think, if I'm not wrong, this part is just like a copy paste of the first verse and the chorus. Feels like a filler track in terms of like an interlude to something bigger. But still, I can see this being used in movies in terms of this catchy instrumentation. Next, we have High Score. It seems like it follows in suit of In It to Win It in terms of like basketball matches, that kind of a vibe for me. Let's see how it goes. Very 80s inspired dance retro. Okay. So far, like each of the music, I would say they kind of stand out in terms of instrumentation. Some may be more rock, some may be more pop, some is in this case more retro. Oh, it's like electro and 80s meshed together. Oh, it's like trap. The instrumental, like whoa. Let's see what this build up leads to. Ooh. I think I'm liking the verse more than the chorus. What suits my taste more. But I think it's a pretty peculiar record in terms of like the genre that it fits into. It's like it hits multiple genres in one song. Yeah, like this part it feels more 80s. Oh, it's like a slot machine sound. Yeah, the chorus is catchy in its own way. The choice of the lyrics, the rhyming factor. I wish they did a music video for this though. I can just imagine an actual arcade, them being the element, and then you have that bridge part where there is the sound of the slot machine or something like that. You could have, and then all them donning like 80s outfits. I think that would be so cool. Next, we have Stealing Cars. Let's see how it fares. Where the Veronica is going to take us to next? Seemingly in the 80s, very 80s. Yeah. Oh, so it took us from rock to a bit more pop, and then back to a bit more rock / 80s, and now full on 80s, I feel. The clap that comes in, it feels so like, oh wow. The iconic Veronica style again, with both sisters singing together but on different pitches. Ooh, the clap. Not my type of music in terms of the chorus, like, it's too monotonous for me. Again, the verse for me hits harder with that very bassy instrumental, and then their vocal style on top, and then the constant clap. Oh, this is an interesting build-up. Oh, like the layering of instrumentation. I can see this being like played at clubs, like very the chill vibe, on the dance floor. But in terms of listening on the daily, not my style. Because the chorus is just not punchy enough for me. But granted, some tracks need to be stronger in certain ways, some tracks need to kind of be more mellow. Now we go to Supernatural Girl. I think consistently for every song, the instrumentation has always hit so well for me. Even though like these few songs that we've listened to since Win It, In It to Win It, I've been produced by just different people, but there's a consistent level of quality that comes to the production. I was thinking Supernatural Girl gave me a vibe of like very an epic kind of a track. I'm not sure. Because I think I just thought of Supergirl, I'm not sure why. Like, I just thought it was going to be something impactful. Because I think in terms of the flow, it makes sense because it kind of just, in terms of intending to go for this kind of a trajectory, like you know, downward in terms of like more mellow tunes and then going back up again towards the end. Hopefully if it does, I kind of get it. It seems too early for an outro. This feels very more outro kind of a music, but I feel like maybe it's just part of the flow of things. I feel like that their vocals, you know, I was saying about how I like their layering in terms of them singing on top of each other, just in different pitches. I feel this is a hit or miss for me. It's a bit of a miss for me. It sounds more too laid back, or like it doesn't give enough of a punchy effect that the instrumentation is giving. Because like there's that constant beat of drum, but the vocals, the way it's probably sung or the way it's being mixed doesn't sound as punchy as I want it to be. Actually, they could have made the instrumentation more epic, more layerings of like strings or something to hammer home this out of this world element. Next we have 101, more pop, definitely, but still very 80s. Oh yeah. Ooh, I can imagine like a choreography going with this in terms of a live performance. Like a very 80s choreo. Ooh, I love that. Woo! Okay. Feels a bit Lady Gaga-ish in terms of the melody. Oh, I love that. The reverse reverb kind of effect. The instrumentation is so simple this time around for this track, but somehow it just works. Like it does, because their vocal is able to carry that emotion of the song. And then when you cue in the beats, it just makes sense together. I feel like the instrumentation for the chorus here could be more layered, because the vocals is very soaring and there is a message to it. Yeah, I feel the instrumentation could be more for the chorus. But other than that, like especially now with the with the chopped up vocals again. Ooh. More rock at this point. Yeah, the chorus is the hook for me. I like the vocal take the time. Like it's so Veronica. It's like if I would hear this on radio, I can immediately tell it's the Veronicas. Oh, so the outro is just gonna be the instrumentation? Yeah, I want to see how they perform this live, if there's some choreography to this. And then this pulsating beat at the back. Nice. After like a more of like a downward, you know, kind of like going more mellow, and then now it's kind of like going up and rising towards the end. Let's see how it is like for Catch Fire. Ooh. I guess pop, way more pop, but it's still it's like more eerie, kind of like of a mood in these few songs from 12 Supernatural. They kind of cued into this other element. I love that strings and the back. Yes, the epicness. Ooh, where is this going? This seems very movie soundtrack to me, in terms of like a big landscape, and then like, you know, maybe someone running on the like in the big open field. Yeah, the instrumentation is I'm one for, you know, this kind of strings kind of instrumentation in more pop sounding songs. Yeah, the constant dun 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 dun. Yeah, it's like that reverb on the drums. It's like the epicness of this song. But I feel this song kind of feels closer more in the supernatural grow, like you could follow that first, then 101, because 101 felt going something hype, and then this kind of feels more laid back in a sense, I feel. Yeah, I like that, like their vocals taking the back seat of the instrumental. But it definitely carries the essence of what the lyrics is. From what I'm hearing, it's like about love and, you know, willing to die for someone, die with someone, and definitely more of the emotional sense of the song in terms of the lyrics writing. I think in terms of their records as a whole, so far it's like they really pay attention to the intro and the outro of the songs. Next we have Silent featuring Travis Barker. Let's see how this collaboration works. I feel like maybe the songs are going more emotional in their lyric sense, because following this song is The Only High, which I know it's definitely more in terms of like love and the emotional burden and things like that. So since Catch Fire, I can understand maybe there's, yeah, like with this song is also paying attention to the emotional meaning in the lyrics. Wow, the vocals, interesting. It's like a bit more pop rock-ish. Well, I can just imagine her in the recording studio sing this, like definitely with the emotion in the vocals. Ooh, and then the strings again, it comes in. Yeah, definitely paying more attention to the lyrics. So I kind of understand why Catch Fire was after 101, even though I said that it should be in terms of the sound of the record, it follows Supernatural more. But I understand perhaps in terms of the way of the maybe it's more paying more attention to the lyrical writing of it. Wow. I think the drums is the essence of what Travis Barker is doing, because he's a drummer, right? For the rock band Blink-182. So yeah, this seems like his take on this. And then it kind of just goes into this very emotional, like their soothing vocals over violin. I think it's a perfect transition to The Only High, because The Only High is really it's just a ballad, because with DNA again, we know it's very pop. Although this song didn't chart as high as In My Blood, I really like this song in terms of the emotional sense that it carries. Wow. Yeah. Takes me back like some memories of when I was listening to this when it came out in 2017. So long ago that it came out. I'm not sure whether they performed this song live. Maybe they did at least once. But if I would really love to feel the energy of the crowd when they hear this song. You know. Especially the chorus. Wow. It's so perfect because the only high when they sing, you're the only high I need, and they're literally hitting the high note, which is just perfect. Although I hope there was more songs that had this element for this. I guess in Human there will probably be more of this. But it fits somehow, despite its being such a pop song and less of like a rock 80s, not even, have nothing of rock 80s, nothing of that. But they managed to kind of weave it in terms of the flow of the tracks. Good outro too, like as a preceding the actual outro track. It's just DNA perfection. Yeah. Yeah, they performed this on their Voice Australia. I would recommend you to watch it. It's really good. And then cues back into the chorus. Woo! Yeah, I'm just so amazed. They're so versatile. Like, I mean, country music artists going to pop realm like Taylor Swift, okay, that is amazing itself. But for rock and pop, like being able to just go straight into electric pop and be able to also kill it in pop rock with your vocals is just wow, you know, versatile vocals indeed. Finally, we have the last track, Sugar Daddy. I've heard a bit of it, not my kind of music, but let's just carry it out the whole full length. Let's say that. Okay, strings as the background. I'm not sure whether it also pays attention to the lyrics. Definitely more upbeat, I feel. Oh, I love that the vocal take on this. Yeah, in terms of the emotional meaning of the song, it kind of is not like the preceding songs. Kind of doesn't fit, I would say. Like, the only high makes sense as an outro track. This song, in terms of the sound, yes, maybe. But I feel like it kind of makes more sense to be more in front. I love the plucking of the strings. Okay, I get, maybe in terms of the vibe of the song, it feels very outro. But the lyrics, like the meaning of the lyrics don't fit as well as like, you know, the previous songs. Because Silent, The Only High, Catch Fire, they felt very emotional, heartstring pulling kind of songs. And then this is about you wanting someone to be your sugar daddy. Like, I don't know, it kind of breaks the emotional impactfulness of like what the preceding songs have done. But I get there's some double layer meaning going on here. Just beyond just like a literal sugar daddy. I just love the plucking strings at the back. Ooh. I'm so confused. I like the song, but I'm not very keen on the meaning of the song. Like, it's not something I would listen to on a daily basis with the in terms of the meaning of the song. But in terms of the melody, the musicality of it, I love it. Ooh, the bridge. I like the pulsating beat. I wonder how it's going to build back into the chorus. Wow. Yeah, they really gave attention to the strings. Yeah, I'm so like on the fence of this song because like I love the music in terms of the melody, the instrumentation, but I'm not loving the message. That's the end of the 12-track album. I can't wait to listen to Human and see how this leads into Human, or does it exist totally in a different sense. But as an album, I can get the flow after listening to it. I understand how it flows. I'm so amazed how they managed to put totally pop, electro pop tracks in the same album with pop rock, and somehow it just flows very well. On one hand, some of it is more on the instrumentation. On the others is to do with the lyrics, the lyrical writing of it. And some of it's due the way the vocals is, very mellow. Wow, like I guess perhaps that's why they took so long in terms of like framing it all together. I think this makes sense, and I enjoy the tracks, even though I'm not a fan of rock music myself, but I enjoy it. I probably listen to some of these other songs on the track, probably like Catch Fire, Silent. I think these are songs that perhaps resonate with me more, aside from The Only High and In My Blood. With that, thank you very much for watching my reaction. Do let me know what you want me to react to next. Catch my commentary for Human very soon, and also I'll be doing other K-pop stuff, talking maybe a bit more about Eurovision, not very sure. Yeah, so if you have anything else, that you like to comment about the Veronicas or pop or rock music in general, 80s music, do let me know in the comment section below. Love to chat with y'all. With that said, thank you very much, and catch you on the next one.